I'm not saying you have to wake up at 5 a.m. Homemaking is not just making homemade bread and looking aesthetic. It's not just about you and your home, but it's also how you can affect other people's lives as well. Hi everyone, I'm Katie, and today we're going to be talking about homemaking. So the Lord put it on my heart to talk about this topic, and so we're going to be looking at Proverbs 31. So let's get straight into the video. So we're going to go verse by verse. Okay, disclaimer. Okay, so homemaking is not just making homemade bread and looking aesthetic. That's not what it's about. It's hard work, and we're going to dive straight into this chapter and see what it's really about, because I think the best example of who a homemaker and what she does is right in this passage. So how to be a good homemaker? Let's get straight into it. So characteristic number 1. First of all, we need to establish something. You are treasured and you are valuable. You see that it says, a wife of noble character, who can find? She is worth far more than rubies. So first of all, the first thing we have to look at is you are worth more than rubies. You are so valuable, and you need to know that. Now let's go on to verse 11. Her husband has full confidence in her and lacks nothing of value. Okay. So that means you are reliable and you are trustworthy. He has all that he needs because of you. I think that's amazing, that you are so reliable and trustworthy that your husband has everything that he needs. Also, this video does not have to be for somebody who's married, because you can have a home and be a homemaker and be single. So verse 12, a safe space. She brings him good, not harm, all the days of her life. I think it's important to notice that the verse said all the days, and not just some, not just when you're in the mood, not just when you're in a good mood, you know, not when everything is going your way, but that as a wife or as a homemaker, your husband is being treated well all the days of his life, even when he is not being kind, even when he, you know, falls short. And we all fall short. So I think that's a really important point, that you are a safe space. Your husband can come to you with anything and talk to you about anything, and that you're a safe space. You're not going to, you know, your head is not going to pop off, and you're not going to act like a crazy lady. And you know, also, there may be days when that happens, and we can say sorry. There is grace and forgive each other. So there's that too. The next characteristics are intelligent, diligent, and willing. So verse 13 says, she selects wool and flax and works with eager hands. She is not lazy, but she does the work eagerly that she has to do. So whatever she's doing it willingly, and she's doing it with all of her might. A planner and a provider. Verse 14 and 15. It says, she is like the merchant ships, bringing her food from afar. She gets up while it is still night, and she provides food for her family and portions for her female servants. So this is a lady who plans ahead of time, and she also provides. Not necessarily having a job and making money, but in whatever capacity that you can provide, you're just making sure that in terms of what you can give, you're giving to the people around you. So if you can cook, you're cooking and you're providing food for the people in your house. If you can, for example, if you can sew clothes. I mean, people don't really sew clothes these days, but you get what I'm saying. Like, whatever you have to do, you're providing for your family in that way. I also want to note in verse 15 that it says she gets up while it's still night. I think it is definitely important as a homemaker to wake up early. I'm not saying you have to wake up at 5 a.m., but 5 a.m. might work for you. 2 a.m. might work for you, and 7 a.m. might work for you. It all depends on who you are, what you're doing, if you have children, all of those things. I know this is a little kind of story time. So I was talking to my pastor's wife, and she had told me, and it shocked me. Okay, so we were talking about some things, and she mentioned that she made dinner at 5, and I was like, oh, 5 p.m. She was like, no, she made dinner at 5 a.m. And I was like, you actually have to find the time to do it when you can. Because if you can't do it at 5 p.m. in the evening, you just do it when you can, because people have to eat And so from that moment, I changed my mindset. And instead of like complaining, because I was complaining a lot about, oh, I can't do this, or there's no time to do this, or I'm too tired, or there's no time for me. Like, if you have to have your me time at 2 o'clock in the morning, take the me time at 2. It's not ideal, it's not easy, but it's better than getting no me time. So I think that's a really important point, especially if you have children. Things change when you have children, and you just have to do things differently and do them when you can. So 2 a.m. might work for you, 5 a.m. might work for you, 7 a.m. might work for you. It all depends on what you have on your plate. Yeah, definitely, because if you're waking up late, you might feel, you are going to feel overwhelmed, because if you wake up late, this person needs this, that person needs this, it's not quiet because everybody else is awake, you can't focus, you can't think. And I'm sure everybody who is a mother or a human being can agree with me on that statement. I'm sure. Verse 16. She is wise. She considers a field and buys it. Out of her earnings, she plants a vineyard. As a homemaker, you're going to have to make profitable decisions. And you have to think of the future. So she's not just doing things at home and then that's it. But you see, she's trying to make a business decision. And I'm not saying you need to go into business. I'm just saying make decisions that are wise and profitable. Make decisions that will benefit you and your family. And not only you and your family, but I'll get into that later. Verse 17, she is capable. It says, she sets about her work vigorously. Her arms are strong for her tasks. So she can do it. She can do the work that she has to do. So it's not that she, for example, needs to sweep the floor but doesn't know how to sweep. She needs to sweep the floor and she sweeps the floor like a G. Okay? She does it well. Verse 18. She is consistent and persistent. She sees that her trading is profitable and her lamp does not go out at night. Okay, so even though she has made profit, even though she's done well, she hasn't just stopped. She's saying, okay, I've done well and I'm going to keep doing what works. So you have to be persistent in the things that you are doing well at, and also improve on the things you may not be doing well at. Verse 19, she has skill and she uses it. So she doesn't just have skill, but she uses it. Verse 19 says, in her hands she holds the distaff and grasps the spindle with her fingers. This is just talking about making clothes. So like I said before, you may not know how to make clothes, but whatever skill you have, use it. Use the skill that you have. If it's cooking, if it's interior design, if it's farming, if it's budgeting, whatever your skill is, use that skill. That also goes for verse 24, which is, she makes linen garments and sells them and supplies the merchant with sashes. So whatever you're good at, just use that skill. Verse 20, she is generous and kind-hearted. She opens her arms to the poor and extends her hands to the needy. She doesn't keep all the things that she has to herself and to her family. She also gives it away to people who need it. And that's really important, because homemaking is not just about you and your home, but it's also how you can affect other people's lives as well. And that's also, you know, the point of every Christian's life as well. It's not staying to yourself and keeping to yourself, but telling people about Jesus, helping people, doing good things for other people, and not just, oh, I'm saved, I'm good, I'm cool. It's no, oh, I'm good, I'm saved, I'm cool, let me go and tell other people, and so they can be good, saved, and cool too. So it's the same thing. If you have everything you need and you're providing, share what you have. Verse 21 and 22. When it snows, she has no fear for her household, for all of them are clothed in scarlet. She makes coverings for her bed. She is clothed in fine linen and purple. Okay, so she's prepared. Because of her diligence, she can relax and know that everything is taken care of. She has made provisions for the needs of her family, but also they are very good provisions. It's not just, oh, here's some stale bread, or here's some 2-week-old bread I provided. No, it's, this is fresh, this tastes good, this is healthy. So it's good provision. She's not just providing badly, but she's providing well. And of course, she's dressed well. Fine linen and purple was a symbol of royalty. So you know that she has nice things. And not that you have to be rich, but based on your diligence and your hard work, that will produce sometimes wealth, but it will also produce good things. So for example, like if you make clothes, make them well. If you're doing anything, do it well. Look the best all the time. I'm not saying you can't, look shabby here and there, because we have those shabby days, but just it's all about the heart as well. Are we trying to look good for other people? There's a verse that talks about doing everything as unto the Lord. So we're supposed to do our best in everything we do, even in the way we dress. So there's that too. Yeah, we have to brush our teeth, and we have to comb our hair sometimes. I mean, if you have locks, you don't have to comb it. So verse 23. When you are a homemaker, you want your husband to be a respectable husband. I'm not saying this is on you. I'm not saying you're supposed to make your husband be anything. But it's interesting that if you are a wife of noble character, which is what the verse is about, or from verse 10, that's where it starts. It says, a wife of noble character, who can find? It's interesting that if you're a wife of noble character, your husband is respected. Now, we can look at it from different angles. It could be that a respectable lady chooses a respectable man and they get married. Or it could be that you're not respectable, he's not respectable, you get married, and you come in contact with Jesus, you become saved. You are a Christian, and your attitude and the way you behave changes your husband's heart, and he looks to God and then becomes respectful. There's a verse about that. I'll put that right there. Okay, so I think that's really interesting, because that's what verse 23 says. Let me read it. It says, her husband is respected at the city gate, where he takes his seat among the elders of the land. Now, this verse is talking about what? Not husbands. It's talking about a wife of noble character. So I find that interesting, that a wife of noble character has a respectable husband. Okay. Verse 25 and 31. Dignity. This is the next characteristic. And let me read those verses for you. She is clothed with strength and dignity. She can laugh at the days to come. And then verse 31 says, honor her for all that her hands have done, and let her works bring her praise at the city gate. Okay, so dignity, I looked it up on Google, is the state or quality of being worthy of honor or respect. I think it's interesting that a wife of noble character and a good homemaker would be worthy of respect. Like it says, she is worthy of respect and she is respected. So not just that she is worthy of it but doesn't receive the respect, but she does receive the respect. Okay, so the next characteristic is loved and praised, and this is coming from verse 28. Verse 28 says, her children arise and call her blessed, her husband also, and he praises her. So there you go, it says it right there. Because of who you are and all the characteristics that you're showing, you're being diligent, you're being hardworking, you're wise, girl, you got it. Your husband will praise you and your children will call you blessed. Verse 29, the next characteristic is, girl, you are gonna be hard to find. It says, many women do noble things, but you surpass them all. So that even ties back in with, I think it was the first point, where you're treasured, a wife of noble character, who can find? This is a rare thing. It is rare to be like this person in Proverbs 31, a wife of noble character. And so you are going to be hard to find. You are going to be, this is something hard to attain. And with the help of the Lord, we can do it. Okay, so verse 30. And this is the most important characteristic. And this is that a wise homemaker, a good homemaker, fears the Lord. She respects God and works like she's working unto the Lord. She does it with all her heart and does it well. Charm is deceptive and beauty is fleeting, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. Okay, so those are all the characteristics that I found in Proverbs 31, and I think those are great characteristics to embody so that we can be better homemakers and better wives. If you're not a wife, that's okay. You can, if for example, maybe you're single and maybe you want to be married, you can think about these qualities, pray about these qualities, and ask God to help you be more like these qualities, so that when you do get married, then you are capable and you can be like this. And if you already are married and you want to improve and be better at homemaking and being a better wife, then you can also look at these things. And if you're not married and don't ever plan to be married, you can still have a great home by being diligent, by being wise, by making good decisions with the gifts that you have. And yeah, guys, I mean, if you enjoyed the video, then subscribe, hit the like button, and comment. Also share this video. Maybe you have a friend who's getting married, is already married, or wants to be married. Or maybe you have a friend who just wants to do better at homemaking. Tell me what other videos you want me to do. If you have any ideas, that would be really helpful. And yeah, I hope this video was helpful. I hope it was encouraging. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your morning, evening, middle of the day, night, whenever you watch this. And just know that you are valuable. You can do it, and you're amazing. And yeah, so have a great day, or like I said, whenever you're watching this. And see you guys in my next video. Okay, bye.